Alright, everybody. So, I want to go more over. I didn't go over crafting as much as I wanted to in my last patch notes video that I did when it was mainly supposed to be about the crafting and all that. I kind of went off and talked about the rapier, which I will be doing again later on, but talking more about like its parry and what it can be for other weapons as well. Because honestly, I'm still gonna main the sword and shield. I don't know what my second weapon is gonna be, but I don't want to get off topic again. Crafting, gathering. So I want to go over more of the crafting and gathering, what it can be. So this is they released this a little bit after, but it wasn't too much. It kind of showed what it was in the patch notes, but just goes into a little bit more detail. But we're just gonna go over this a little bit, then I'm just gonna talk about my thoughts on it. So crafting appearances or crafting benches appearances just shows when they're more upgraded. Improving inventory, which is going to be super nice, which means your storage and your inventory is going to be significantly improved. The UI for that, making your items so much easier to find. It's going to be nice. And additional resources and materials. So they added like more resources across the land, more things to gather, and spit it out. Spit it out. They added more. I'll just come back to that for some minutes. I just can't. So, for logging, skinning, and stuff like that, this is going to be more of an unlock. No, I'm using the wrong word. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, it's going to be more of a stage progression for skinning, like wolves or boars, wolves, bears, unlike it was in the preview, where I was a really low level skinning the top notch animals, and I was like, I don't think I should be skinning these. But I was. Granted, herbalism was a little bit different when I found like herbalism animals. I couldn't skin those. Harvest those? I think it's harvest, right? Yeah, it's harvest. So it's gonna be more of an unlock for that, which is gonna feel a lot better for the gathering. Same thing for trees, a better representation of that as well. Now, the whole barrel thing in the world. So anything that you can harvest in the world will not be in barrels. So more loots to be had, which is always nice. More loots for the grabbing. So that's nice. Now, the materials and resources now display their rarity, which is going to be super nice for when you're crafting, as you can see in this little image right here. I'm assuming it's going to be for other rarer items that you find throughout the world, like different horns, fangs, maybe. There's things like that. But that also ties into the categorical recipes. So, as the example used down here, you're making food that calls for a vegetable. You can use a carrot or something else. Now, what would be cool with this is that, say you're making a stew, and you can use a different vegetable for something else. If those vegetables give it a little bit of a different effect to it, you know what I mean? Like maybe a different resistance, like have two different types of vegetable soups. One does something other than the other because you use different recipes or different ingredients for it. I don't know if it's going to go that in depth, especially with, say, crafting weapons, crafting armor, using different hides for different things. I know you can use, like, making a steel sword that they use in the description here as well. use like the maximum rarity stuff that you can get to further increase its rarity. I don't know. That's just going to increase its power level. I don't know if that's going to increase not increase, but add additional stats to it, which I think would be really nice. Like how the materials have their own unique properties to it. Like the star metal has, say, like small amounts of fire damage because it's star metal. I don't know, it's just an example. But that would be interesting. Same strength of materials, but different effects on it. You know what I mean? I know that's what gems are for. Like ruby gives, they would give it fire damage, right? That's what the ruby was. Pretty sure that's what the ruby was. I'm pretty sure that's what rubies will do for weapons. And if you put rubies on armor, it's going to give you fire resistance. If I'm not mistaken. I don't think they do base stats anymore. We'll have to see when we actually get our hands on the game, which I can't wait for. Now, they've added a whole lot more recipes, named weapons to the game, or craftable named weapons, specific weapons, which would be really nice if you find a legendary blueprint to craft that, because you can craft named weapons out. I think it's a small chance for it to be a named weapon as you're crafting. I know there's the legendaries that can happen. No, I think you gotta probably have to get like specific recipes for those, because I know they've said that you can craft named weapons, named armor, and stuff like that, but there's a whole lot more recipes they added. So maybe what I was just talking about will be a thing for weapons. Added like the horns or something. That'd be pretty nice. Pretty interesting or pretty cool if those tied into weapons and armor. I know that probably won't change the visual of them, which sucks, because that would be pretty nice and pretty cool. It would make your look very different from everybody else. Definitely so. Like, say you want to be a crafter. You want to have a signature piece to your armor. You always craft it with, like, even if it doesn't add an effect, if it adds visually to the armor. Say you always craft your armor with antlers from deer. Have antlers either on your helmet, on your shoulders, or, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that. Little spikes on your gauntlets. That'd be a nice little touch. I definitely would. You have a new way to make things. I guess that's kind of what we were just talking about, to be honest. The flexible material. Yeah, it's what we were just talking about. Trading, progression has changed. So, trading, like I was saying before in the last video, it caps at 200. The progression-wise, that's kind of what we covered earlier as well in the last video. It's kind of what I wanted to talk about was this new way of crafting and the categorical recipes, which is super nice. Now the gathering again is going to be very, very nice. It caps at 200. I don't remember what it capped at in the, what was the cap in Preact? Was the cap 100? I think the cap was 100. Pretty sure the cap was 100. Anyways, so you're going to cap at 200, but it's not going to necessarily increase your chances of getting those rare ingredients from what you're harvesting. It's just going to make it so you can gather the higher tier stuff. You're still going to want to go harvest the lower end stuff for those rare materials to use on your end game gear. So it's always nice to have a reason to do the lower end content, which is why I really like gathering and crafting, because you always have to go back and do that lower tier stuff to build up to the higher tier stuff. That's always going to play a part in the game. Yeah, that could be messed up for lower tier people trying to get the high tier, but it's gonna be nice. Either or. You can probably play the game purely on trading, crafting, running the market, and stuff like that, which a lot of people do enjoy. I have a friend, like when we back played Albion, that was like almost exactly what he did. He barely went out in the world, but when he did, he would have people would guard him. I was usually the one that was running bodyguard duty. It was fun. I like playing the tank, hence my main choice of being a sword and board in this game. But next video I do will either be talking about elite enemies, stuff like that, or it's going to be rapier, more so on the rapier, talking about its counter, its dodges, and how other weapons are going to go up against it. But I'll let you guys decide. If not, it'll probably be one of those two. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. If you had to add anything, comments below. I will be answering the best I can down there, for sure. But until the next video, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe and stay well. Take care, and have a good one, everybody.